Hello everyone, this is Lolly. Today I want to talk about plugged glue bottles. By any adhesive in a bottle, the tip can get plugged and cause a lot of frustration. So the main go-to glues for me are the Scotch tacky glue, the art glitter glue. This confuses some because they think it's got glitter in it. It's not a glitter glue, a glittery glue. It is glue that the art glitter company has made to adhere glitter to items, if that makes sense. So it's artglitter.com. Years ago, like I'm talking in the late 90s, I had an account with them and I sold their glue and their glitter, their microfine glitter. So just let you know, that's the name is because of what they sell, not because that this has glitter in it. And I also use glossy accents in the fine tip applicator, and I think this has the art glitter glue in a fine tip applicator as well, and these come in a set of 2, which is really handy, of course. But I also have the tacky glue, which sits down in its lid, so the glue is always down there, and I have Fabri-Tac, and I use things like diamond glaze, etc. So these are the little fine tip bottles, and they tend to get plugged up. So the main thing is to remember to cap it often. So you will notice in my videos when I'm doing tutorials, I will stop and cap the bottle. You'll see my hands go off as I'm capping the bottle to make sure it doesn't dry out. When I forget, that's when it tends to get all plugged up. But the other thing is, many times when we close it, it's got this glob of glue right there, and we don't clean this tip off, and so we recap it. And what happens is that glue ends up in the cap gets full of dried glue, and then now instead of going all the way down and snapping into place and getting an airtight seal, your cap is up here because there's too much glue in it. So now and then you need to come and get a needle or something and dig out that glue, which I can see I need to do. I've got some little chunks there. So if you will dig that out now and then give it a good rinse to make sure you get all of that out there. You can see how much is in here. I'm going to use a stronger needle here. Sometimes you can get it all to come out in one big clump. So all of this glue is preventing the bottle from the cap from going down snugly onto that bottle. Yeah, usually I can dig this out of there. Like, here we go. There's a big chunk right there. And then I would take this and rinse it out before putting it back on. But for the sake of video, I don't know that I'm going to actually take it to the sink right now. So when that goes in there, now it snaps in place, and you could see how much glue I just dug out of that cap, especially this big clump. It was preventing that from staying on there. And now, listen, see, nice and crisp of a snap. Okay, so that is huge. That, especially I've noticed on the Scotch bottle, that is the main reason, other than forgetting to cap my bottle, that is the main reason why this one tends to get plugged up. On these screw all the way down and they do really well, but I know that whenever I remove the lid, I need to clean this off like that with my fingers, and it works fine. This lid does not seem to get the glue inside of it like the Scotch does and like the art glitter glue. This one I haven't had as much of a difficulty either with the lid, but now and then, you know, these plug up as well. Another thing you can do before capping is to burp your bottle. So right now, this has glue in it, in that tip right there, which means it's more likely to dry. So if you burp it, meaning to squeeze it out and then pull air back into it, right there. Now what I do is I just sucked air down that little spout there, allowing a passageway, and now I can hear the air whooshing in and out like it's not going to plug up in the tip. But all said and done, if you still get clogged, which these will do the most often, these tiny ones will really benefit from burping. On these, I make sure that now and then I just take my nail and I scrape the glue off of the little fine tip here, and that allows this little cap to rest more evenly on there. Think about this: if there's a little dried clump of glue there and you put this on, that clump of glue is it's sticking out, and it means that the silicone wrap now has air leaking in around it. So if you can keep this clean, this will sit on there more neatly. Eventually you still may have a problem. So what I do, I take this off and I go and I rinse it in warm water, and I take a sewing needle here and clean it from this side, and I try to go down from this side. It's a little harder, but I do it under warm running water, and I keep doing it and doing it and doing it until I get it all cleaned out. And then what I do is I put my mouth firmly around here if there's no glue on there, and I blow really hard to make sure I squirt all of anything left back in there. And then I put it back on and seal it with the little cap right there. So I do that for both of these, and I have also taken these out and rinsed them out now and then too. Do the same thing, run it under really warm water, take your little needle, go up and down in there, your straight pin there. And so what I do in my laundry room, I have a tub for washing, and I take an old towel that, you know, when you get new towels for your bathroom or whatever, you take a hand towel that you're no longer using, and I have a shelf above the tub in the laundry room, and that's where I go to rinse all my brushes, and this towel stays up on that shelf. And what I do is I take my needle, my little straight pin here, and I put it right there in the front, so I can just reach up and grab that straight pin and pull it down and use it and put it back up. And anytime I'm rinsing brushes, I just lay them up here to dry. So after I rinse them, I stick them up there to dry. And then now and then when I have several of them, I pull them back out. So this is my drying towel. I leave this hooked in there so that I can clean my glue bottles and not have to fret about it. So if you are going away at a crafting event, a crop, or anything where there is going to be, where you're going to use your glue bottles, and you're out of town and your glue bottle is going to harden up on you, you might want to consider taking one of these straight pins with you. So I like to take a piece of cardstock and I'm just going to cut 2 tiny little dashes in there. And then what I can do is put my needle in there, my straight pin in there like this, fold it over, and now it's easier to find in my craft supplies, and I'm not going to get poked by having this needle floating around in my craft supplies. So I will pack this with my little glue bottles when I'm at a crop or whatever I'm doing, some kind of craft event, so that I can have that handy. So I hope those little tips helped you out for getting those glue bottles cleared. I have never had success with glossy accents. The bottle that it comes in has always plugged up on me. I pretty much had to wash the lid after every use, and to me that's excessive. Whereas when I put it in this fine tip applicator, I haven't had to wash it often at all. This one seems to work really well. And if you're getting ready to do a project, I like to give it a squeeze and see if I can hear air whooshing out of there, or at least see glue coming out, which I see now. I'm going to wipe that off, and I just burped it successfully and let some air back inside there. So remember to burp your bottles, ladies and guys. Thank you for watching.